Hey guys, it's Parsifal, and I am back for another art resolution. We're going for the 2020 art resolutions today. And if you just want to mute me and watch the pretty speed paint, go ahead. You can put on your own music as usual. I don't care. For art credits, this is an old piece I did in about May-ish for Sheeparoos on DeviantArt, and this is a human version of their OC fishtail. So yeah, that's what's going on in the background. Getting into the actual video, as I did last year, rather, instead of as I do, but I do want to make this a thing. Let's go over what my old resolutions were first, and then we can get into new stuff. So, not necessarily in order, because I did take notes, but I did not put them in order. Some of the resolutions that I had previously were to be more comfortable with art styles that I know won't work. Get back into sketchbooks, try an animatic, get better at redesigns, give old OCs new life, listen to my videos before I post them, get an end card, and balance digital and traditional art, as well as taking notes on videos more often. Now, going into these in the order that I have read them, be more comfortable with art styles that I know won't work. This was specifically in reference, I believe, to trying to sketch more digitally, which I actually did do more digital sketches this year. I did some art trades for digital sketches, I did some art payments for digital sketches, and I think that made me feel a lot more comfortable with what I was doing. It actually helped my sketching process a lot, especially digitally, and I thought that it was a very, very good way to work on my process. I've actually, on bigger pieces, especially commissions, started doing multiple sketch layers because I've become more comfortable with my digital sketching. And I believe, actually, in this art piece that I'm doing now, I am doing a second sketch layer, but for people who are familiar with my speed paints, that's not usually a thing. So I have really gotten more comfortable with sketching digitally and being more comfortable with art styles that may not work. Because another thing that I did was I started to do some digital paintings in during Art Fight this year. And always, every single year, I feel like Art Fight is the most successful time because that is when I really do all of my experimentation for the year. And I find new things that work, and I tried some new shading techniques this year. I discovered a soft shading style that I liked, and, well, I think possibly I could consider testing in more months afterwards. I think that I did succeed on this resolution. I'm not going to make it a resolution to do more testing next year or anything like that. I'm just hoping to maintain it. But I do think that I did pretty good at being more comfortable with testing new art styles. Getting back into sketchbooks. No. I did get back into sketchbooks, sort of, but I didn't really get back into sketchbooks the way I wanted to. When I took my notes on this video, I had said in my previous 2019 art resolutions that I wanted to get back into doing my sketchbook sketch page layouts, and I have not gotten back into that. It has not succeeded. But one thing I am going to try out this year, I think, is I'm going to try some new sketchbook sizes and some new sketchbook papers and stuff like that, see if that'll help. I have a 8x8 sitting here because I tried out the ELO sketchbook and I found that 8x8 was a very comfortable size. And I have a top-bound sketchbook that's an 8.5 by 11, not 8.5, a 5.5 by 8.5, and we'll see if that one works. That sketchbook is by Flan, and you might see that one in one of my upcoming sketchbook tours. But I'm going to try some new formats for sketchbooks that are more than just paper, that are like maybe putting the binding in a different place, maybe trying a different shape, and just gonna see how that goes and see if that helps me get that spark back for sketchbooks. Trying Animatic. Yes, I did do that. And in fact, I have 2 animatics. One of them is not posted right now, but admittedly, they're not full animatics. I don't know if I'm going to get to a full animatic. I do have one thumbnailed out in mind. It's still short, but it is a full song. But I did do a small snippet animatic, and I am proud of myself for doing that. Again, I'm not going to make that a resolution. Maybe I'll make it a stretch goal to do that, like, actual short animatic. But honestly, having done the 2 snippets that I did do, I'm pretty happy with. redesigning and giving old OCs new life. I have gotten slightly better at redesigning. I have tried some new stuff, and I have done both of those things and found old art of my old characters and redesigned them into something new. I still want to work on that for next year. I want to continue learning how to do some redesigns and giving old OCs new life. But I do think that I actually succeeded with that. And it wasn't something that was on YouTube a lot, because I didn't always film a lot of those since I was not sure how they would turn out. But I did work on that quite a bit. Listening to videos before I post them. I still don't really do that. I don't know if it's just an extra step that I just don't like or what. But it hasn't really happened, and honestly, after the whole YouTube Studio Beta stuff and all the things that YouTube is doing, as much as I love YouTube, and as much as I love making these videos, and I feel like they're very good for myself and for my own records, I don't know if I'm going to keep that resolution for this upcoming year, just because I don't know how sustainable YouTube is going to be. Not in terms of money, but in terms of just, like, being an actual site that I enjoy making content for. We'll see. We'll keep that in mind. But, I'm not going to make that a resolution for next year, but I also did not succeed in that resolution from last year. I did mention in my last video that while I had made a final title screen or a layout for it, I did make an end card, and I didn't technically make an end card for myself, but I did get an end card. My end card is done by my sister, Brookshen, who was playing around with stuff and decided to make me an end card from, I think she used emo furry or something like that to make the eyes and stuff move around, and I really like that end card, so I've been using that, and I plan to keep that until I feel like I need to update it. Taking notes on videos, especially on new videos. I have done that. I've started writing down video ideas. I've started writing down thoughts. I don't do that nearly as often for like every single video, but I have been doing that for my videos. And I have done that for this video, because I remember last year I was like, man, I should probably take notes on my videos, and I took notes on this video for the old resolutions, but I didn't write down new resolutions. Don't worry, past me, you improved on that. I have written down some of my New Year's art resolutions. So, let's get into 2020. What do I want to improve on art-wise for my resolutions? I do have a lot of personal resolutions for next year, but those are for me, and they are not necessarily relevant for this, so I'm just going to be sticking to my art resolutions. First and foremost, I want to do some more digital paintings. I had a lot of fun doing those for Art Fight, and I would love to get more into those. I don't want to necessarily go, I'm going to do one digital painting every single month, but I think it would be fun to get more experience with digital painting. I'm definitely going to do some more for Art Fight once I get to that point in July, but yeah, had a lot of fun. I want to learn some more painting stuff just because I think it's really interesting, and it's not really a skill that I use a lot because I thought it just wasn't for me, but I found a method of digital painting I liked, so we'll see how that works. Writing down more goals, and clearly that was a thing that I wanted to do last year, but I want to see if I can make sure that I write down my resolutions more often. I do have a bullet journal, but I'm also going to plan to put my resolutions in the description of the video, because I want to make sure that I have my goals easily accessible, and I don't have to go through an entire video for next year just to get my quick notes on my resolutions. I want to make sure I have, like, not even just goals, but like future plans or predictions or stuff like that. Write down what I was expecting from something. That way I at least have an idea of like what I thought was going to happen, and I can compare it to what I actually wanted or what the resolution was. And the other two things that I want to do was first recapture the spark from my own OCs, which is why I accidentally said OCs. So I feel like the second one is doing more sketchbook spreads, and I feel like they're kind of interconnected. I did a lot of work for other people's OCs this past year and the year previous, and while I definitely love that, I haven't really had a spark of OC stuff that I really enjoyed since February of 2018-ish. I haven't really... But back then, I had sketchbooks and pages upon pages of OCs interacting and me trying to develop them and having fun with it, and I feel like I haven't done that in such a long time. And I don't know if it's work, I don't know if it's something else, but I feel like I kind of lost that, and I want to recapture that somehow. So I don't know how I'm going to rekindle the spark for my own OCs, but I would like to see if I can do that. That would be great. It's kind of a bit of a vague goal, but we'll see how it goes. And I know inspiration is fleeting, and the more important thing is discipline and habit, but I don't know. It's just, I'd love to figure something out with that. But yeah, I don't have a lot of goals for this coming year. I do think some other successful things that I did last year was to do more backgrounds and more full bodies. I am not super good at those either, but you know, I'd like to still get better at those, obviously. But they're not super big resolutions. I think I'm just gonna stick with the 4. Maybe for a stretch goal, I'll put down, hey, get better at some furry art or something like that, because I can't draw animals or anthros, and I would like to be better at that, because I'm trying to get some animal and anthro characters into my roster myself. But it'll come with time, and I'm pretty sure that's just, like, going to be a practice thing. But yeah, those are my 2020 art resolutions, just those main 4, and we'll see how I do in a year's time. Thank you for joining me for this, and I hope to see you guys next time. I will send you to the outro. Bye! Well, that's the end of this video. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, or contact me on any of my social media, which is linked in the description below. I also have my Patreon there if you guys want to throw a monthly donation at me. Thanks so much for your support. I'll see you next time. Bye!